What's up, everybody, man? Welcome to another show, NBA Talk with Jay Money and the Shark. We here, we back. Win or lose, we always here every day, man. Trying to cash some tickets. You dig what I'm saying? It's Friday. It's NBA payday. Shark, what's up with you, my guy?
All of that. NBA payday, free Friday, October 22nd, 2021. Welcome back to the show, guys. Yesterday's card was fantastic, except for one thing. The Warriors forgot to cover the spread by 1 point. J Money with a blowout winner. Miami Heat, absolute obliteration by 40 plus from the opening tip. That is what you love to see. And of course, the Atlanta Hawks with a massacre of the Dallas Mavericks. But we are here. We are now Big Card Friday. I'm excited to dive into it. I have one official look. We have a lot of things going on in this card today, a lot of tough spots. Of course, early season is difficult in general. And these spots, outside of the fact it's early season, a lot of teams in the same position. And J Money not waiting around on a suddenly not so casual free Friday. Where do we want to begin here?
Yeah, it's a lot of games, man. Let's get into them. My guy. Like I say, it's Friday. It's always nice to cash on Fridays, my guys.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go to this first game. Like, I don't have much on this one, but I just wanted to talk something about it. I know Terry Rozier didn't play in the first game. He does say he's 98% sure to play. So even if I don't have a play on the game, I just try to give you guys some info. It is the Cavs home opener. The Cavs will be a lot better than advertised this year, and the Hornets as well after coming back after that huge come from behind win. In theory, we'll see if they keep that going with some momentum, or the Cavs could come in here and win this game outright. I must say, like I said, I'm not playing this game, but I would possibly lean Cavs. I know Darius Garland has a little ankle injury as well, but likely going to play. Shark, what you think about this game, my guy?
This is interesting, actually. The Hornets' road schedule last year actually opened up at Cleveland, too. And they were laying the same figure. They were a 3-point favorite, and they lost outright. Of course, that was the beginning of a COVID campaign and a LaMelo Ball rookie campaign, which I did think added an abstract element in there. But I do think from a line standpoint, when you lay 3 and you lose outright and you come back and you open it.
He's still there, my God. I think Shark went out for a sec. Oh, just make sure I'm still here. Y'all can hear me in the chat, right? Just real quick, Shark, if you can hear me, you kind of, it's cool. Some maybe happened with his computer. Can you guys still hear me? I just want to make sure. Are we still here? Should be. Is somebody in the chat real quick say you can hear me? Okay, bet. So we're still here. I'm just making sure it ain't my shit. But no, we'll get them back here pretty soon. I lean the under in this game. The Cavs will be a lot better defensive. It's crazy because like the Cavs, even though the Cavs are better defensively, they got guys like Mobley, obviously Jared Allen. They still want to push the pace. So that's what worries me here. The Hornets obviously want to push the pace, even though they got some defenders over here. Rozier is one of their better defenders. Getting him back would help the offense, but also help the defense as well. They also got guys like Plumlee. He's going to help with defensively, and Oubre as well coming off the bench. He'll also help defensively, my guy. What's up, Shark? Sorry, you cut out there.
Yeah, no, Interpol called. They can't let Sharps talk about basketball dating back to last year. But anyway, so yeah, this is a strong line for the Hornets, but I think there's enough ambiguity to lay off this one. The Cavs did beat Charlotte 2 out of 3 last year, interestingly enough. And I don't know if that's just pure psychology, how they match up younger groups. The Cavs find another level against the Hornets. This is a difficult spot. Again, the number is Hornets, but I don't love fading the Cavs coming home off a non-cover and their home opener here.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. Like I say, this is a stay away game for me. I kind of want to lean the Cavs here, especially with the Hornets. In theory, could have a letdown from that huge. Like they were getting smacked by the Pacers. Like, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with the Hornets? I didn't envision them being down 20 plus points in that game, even though they came back to win. We still can't go over the fact that they were down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Got smacked out of the gate. So nothing for me on that one. Next game, Knicks versus the Magic here. You talk about sometimes, guys, when you're betting on games like this, I would say, unless you have some info or players question or something, you have to bet these games like overnight. This Knicks are a public team, and a lot of people would like to fade the Magic as well. So if you want to hop on this, guys, it was at 6.5 pretty much all night. This morning started to get steamed up to 8.5. I'm just saying, if you like Knicks, you want to get on the best of these numbers. It's up to 8.5. They're landed on the road, coming off a double overtime game versus Celtics. What do you think about this? Are the Magic just that terrible, or we just land Knicks 8.5 on the road? They starting to get a little too much love now, my guys.
Yeah. Obviously the Magic burned me the other day. When that Spurs group cleans you up by 20 points and you're really fairly uncompetitive, particularly when Vegas odds makers missed the line too. That line should not have been 6.5. It was 7.5 prior, and it came down. It should have come up to 8.5. Not. They just totally missed the environment. I do think the Magic could be just purely down this year. I don't know. We are obviously game 2 of 82. We are very data deficient here. One look here I'm not opposed to is Knicks first quarter. I do think the Knicks starters came out fairly flat against Boston in the home opener in Madison Square Garden. We know Tibbs and the boys love to juice it up in the first quarter, and I think as an immediate bounce back from a poor non-cover, of course, Junior had the first quarter there intelligently. He did not win, but that's a good trend to back. And I think coming on the road here, catching the Magic, they came out reasonably well in San Antonio and faded in the second half. I think this is a good merge dynamic for the Knicks to buy into the first quarter and the Magic to come out flat in the first quarter. I was actually looking at it before, nothing official yet. If I play that, I will post it, but that would be my top look here.
Exactly. Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of it, my guy. Like you say, Magic home opener. They do have some guys over there. I don't necessarily think the Magic are the worst team in the league. They do have a bunch of guys still out. Okiki, one of their young guns, still out, which he's really great for them defensively. Gary Harris won't be in this game as well. Has a hamstring injury. Fultz still out. Michael Carter Williams still out. Jonathan Isaac out as well, and Etor Moore. So they have a bunch of their guys out. I must say, I can understand it. We can't forget though, the Knicks have a couple of their centers out as well. What do the Magic do? They have some length out there, starting Franz Wagner, Wendell Carter Jr., who can't play center in this league, and Mo Bamba as well. I guess what I'm saying is the Magic probably could own the boards in this game. I could see a under type of game. I see people in the chat saying maybe Magic team total under. We know that the Knicks play excellent defense. You do have Fournier coming back to his old stomping grounds with the Magic here, so be interested what happens with them. But for the Knicks, Nerlens Noel is out, and Taj Gibson is out as well, so that leaves them a little thin in the front court, mainly leaning on Mitchell Robinson, Jericho Sims, and Julius Randle there. So be interested to see what happens there, and can the Magic score enough points to keep up with this one? I could definitely see an under game right here. Magic tend to struggle on defense, in my opinion. On offense.
One point on that total. I'm not sure where people are coming at it, what angle they're looking at. I did look at the totals last year in this game. There were 3 very low-scoring games. There was a 94-93, a 92-86 or something. It was real throwback 80s-style ball. One was in Madison Square Garden, a matinee. That was obviously pre-Magic gutting their roster. But even late season, there was a really low-scoring game. I'm not sure if that's going to continue or if that was just symptomatic of something going on last year. Of course, the Knicks did defend better last year as well. The opener was a bizarre outlier. Of course, 138, 134 in double OT. 212.5, that was a really tough spot. I think that line is very, very sharp. But I would be careful of an under here. I do think off of 3 totals last year that went way under. Again, we always talk about space on the line. It's too easy, in my opinion, to take an under here versus this
Exactly.
line.
Hey, it can happen, man. Y'all know I'm not the total expert. I must say, I'm not the total expert. Knicks went. Somebody say Knicks went small against Boston with Toppin, and they looked really good and fast. That's a good point. Yeah, and that's another thing. Without them having Noel and Gibson, even though Gibson isn't super tall or anything, or you know what I'm saying, he still is a dog down there and a really good rebounder as well. So missing Noel and Gibson also helps the over, in my opinion. Could be possibly a lot of more easy baskets than not in the inside. But let's go to this next game. Something I'm liking here. We got the Pacers versus the Wizards here, guys. I did fade the Wizards the first game of the season, and I don't think it was a bad play. The Wizards still didn't have a good shooting output. It was the Raptors that were terrible. Scored 83 points, man. In today's NBA, you only scored muster up 83 points. The Raptors may struggle this year, at least out of the gate, to score some points. Obviously missing Lowry. They got Van Fleet and Dragic, but they're they got a lot of problems right now. So I don't necessarily think that was the Wizards looking really good as more of the Raptors looking terrible. Now we take it on the flip side. The Pacers here came out guns blazing versus the Hornets, right? They got up 23 points in that first half. Obviously, they ended up pissing away and lose the game by 1. That's even more reason why I'd like to buy them here, and because they're coming in pissed off. On another side as well, they lost to this team twice already, or like Shark said, 3 times in a row. The most important one, they beat the Hornets in the play in the 9-10 game. Then you have to go and play the Wizards for their 8 seed. They get absolutely blown out. Obviously, that's when the Wizards really hit their stride last year. A lot different team now, even a different coach as well. This is the home opener. They're coming off a win. We got 1-0 versus 0-1. I like the Pacers here, and I'll take it another step further. Got some inside info that Beal isn't 100%. Even today at shoot around, he's getting treatment or has a hip contusion to go with the knee as well, my guys. So I think a little banged up Bill here. If he does play, won't be 100%. I wouldn't be a bit surprised. He's listed questionable. Wouldn't be surprised him maybe sit this one out, especially with that hip. Could be something big, guys. A lot of reasons. I like the Pacers here. We talked about it last night. This line was at 2.5. It's coming down to 1.5, which is I like to see. I think if you start to come down to 1 in some places, I think the Pacers might go off the favorite here. I like the Pacers tonight, my guys. Another playoff revenge angle. I'm going with it. I like the Pacers, man. I got to go with my guns. This is one of the better plays I like today. I'm going with it. Scared money don't make no money. I'm on the Pacers, Shark.
No, I wouldn't disagree. But I was just saying to you off the record, I was looking this loosely last night. And I want to make a comment on that on Twitter. Obviously, I was, getting an aggressive troll and some bullshit going on there. Just a snapshot to that, guys. Just to remember, Jay and I, we put on our best product here for 30 minutes a day. Off the record, we're very normal human beings. If we met you at a bar, we'd have a great conversation. We'd buy you a drink. So when the negative energy comes to us, I always say, remember, what you see on the internet, and this applies to everything, is not real life. So keep it clean and keep it sober and keep it dominant, because we try to put out our best product, but not spending too much time on that.
And respectful as well. Fuck.
Absolutely. And but anyway, the Pacers last year in the regular season did lose 3 games to the Wizards, and of course in the playing game they also lost. You have a quadruple revenge game, and of course this dynamic has been playing well in the early going of the season. You saw it yesterday with Milwaukee losing in a blowout to Miami. The previous day, the Nuggets beating the Suns. I think the Pacers here are a very, very good look. I think, of course, catching the Wizards off a cover and an outright win in Toronto coming home is a good fade spot. We always talk about that. Home game 1 off of a bit of a trip. Of course, not a full road trip, but the home opener. And they did come out particularly well in Toronto. So I think there's a nice reversal there. I like Pacers first half potentially as well. I'm not officially on this, but I might sprinkle as well, because I think this Pacers spot is a very good look here.
Yeah, I think so as well. And could be onto somewhere with the first half as well, coming out well again and not pissing this one away. Or you could get the dynamic of coming out a little slower and trying to pick it up in the second half, like the Carving. Obviously, but regardless, I'm taking Pacers full game, guys, plus 1.5. I like that. That's one of my best looks today. Like I said it last night. Pacers, Nets, Suns is what I'd be looking at. Pacers is my top for sure, my guys. Let's just go to another one here. I see people in the chat already overreacted to one game. One guy said, I'm never taking the Mavericks, never again. Hey, it happens, man. I bet on one time. Like, I'm pissed at the Raptors. I kind of feel like that, but we can't get too high or too low off one team. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's going to be times to back them. There's going to be times to fade them during the year. So even though the Raptors ran me hot, there still may be time to get them. There's no way I'm betting them tonight, though. I must say the Celtics are coming off their loss, double overtime loss as well. They're laying 6.5 in this game. The Raptors really are struggling in scoring right now. Like, the total, guys, Raptors team total under tonight, in my opinion. I don't see how they get past 100 points. As long as the Celtics come in here playing that lockdown type defense, the Raptors really struggling right now with ball creation. When Van Fleet goes out, it's really ugly. They don't need to be starting Prince Achua. I'm not sure what they're doing with that. Like the Heat literally let him go. And they got this guy out here starting. Not saying he's not an NBA player, which, I mean, I would even bring him off the bench. But Birch should be the starting center for the Raptors. They're going to have to do something else, maybe bring Dragic off the bench, because him and Van Fleet on the same floor together is not working right now, my guys. Only 83 points versus the Wizards. Wizards are not a defensive stalwarts, my guys. Shark, what you think about this one? Celtics laying 6.5, total of 218, Raptors Celtics.
Yeah, I went back and I looked at last year, and one of the trends really developing on this board today, there are a few games where one side cleaned up the opponent in all matchups last year. This is another one. The Celtics took care of business. They won all the games, and I believe they went 2-1 ATS against the Raptors last year. I would lean Raptors, but I'm not taking it. Part of what I'm looking at here is what Jay Money was onto in game one. We always talk about this. Do you run away from a good thing or do you stay the course? I think the buy element for the Raptors is an intelligent environment coming into the season. And I think looking at game one, it was the first time they played in Toronto in over a year and a half. I think there was a lot of emotional elements going on there. They played an awful game. They only scored 83 points. And you do look at Boston, again, coming home, the home opener, similar to what we're saying in terms of fading Washington. And you do get a triple revenge game. That does stand for itself. The line itself is very, very sharp, in my opinion. I think, again, it's that 6.5 zone where it's going to be really sharp. Lean would be Raptors to come up off of an absolute dud and Celtics to come down off a really representative road effort. Of course, they didn't cover, but a double overtime game in Madison Square Garden, that's representative in my mind. And I think this would be more of a letdown spot for the Celtics. I think it would be more of a buy spot for the Raptors.
Yeah, no, I couldn't talk you out. I mean, I guess I could just because, like, I think it is going to take a little time for the Raptors. They could literally come in here and get the cover and not win the game, guys. Like, I'm not. Yeah. It's their 77%.
Unofficial.
Yeah, no, there's 77% of the public on the Celtics. I usually don't like to be on side when everyone overreacts. I do think the Raptors are better than what they show versus the Wizards, but that 83 does, I must say, even though that does kind of scare me off right now. At least early season, they got a bunch of new guys over there. Even though I think Nurse is a really good coach, I'll question that starting to chew it for a while. Like, I'm dead serious on that. The guy is like maybe 6'8", 6'9" at most. He's a dog, but starting center going up against Gafford, I even said it when I saw it. I said, man, Gafford's going to absolutely eat in this game. That's exactly what they did. They killed him with points in the paint and rebounds. And the Celtics have some length. They got Robert Williams on the Robert Williams III over there. He's a baller, so not a whole lot of length after him. I believe Horford's still out as well, but Robert Williams should eat in this one as far as rebounds, maybe even points and rebounds as well. That's like opposing centers will eat against the Raptors right now, my guys. And I still see another under game. If the Raptors stay tight in this one, it'll be because of defense slowing the game down, playing very sticky type of defense. That's what they do. And the defense wasn't top tier versus the Wizards. So even though they held them to a bad shooting, the defense still went there. They were getting blown out by them in their 30 points. So if the Raptors bounce back here, I think it'll be defensively heavy lean to the under there for me. Let's get to the next game. We have the Nets versus 76ers. Line open up at 1. Nets being favored by 1. It's bet up to 2.5, 3 now. There is some info coming out about Joel Embiid with him, his knee injury or whatever. He is questionable in this game. Could possibly play. I'm not so sure though. Now with this line jumping up, like it was 1 last night. Woke up this morning 2.5 threes. What's going on? Where all the money is coming on the Nets? Just a little inside info. Joel Embiid this morning is shooting around. His knee was heavily wrapped. So you could take that for what it's worth. He was shooting free throws, but the knee was very heavily wrapped. That's something that I'd be keeping an eye on. Would be a bit surprised to see Embiid take this one on the light side and not sit this now. What you think about this one, Shark?
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on here. Of course, I missed the opening game cap on the road against New Orleans. They did come in the second half. They came heavy, and I lost the bet. And I had said I thought they were in disarray. But now I'm thinking a little bit more logically, having seen that. And with Ben Simmons now, I guess, effectively off the roster for indefinitely here, I think we might see the Sixers really showcase a good level of camaraderie and basketball fluidity. We don't know exactly what's going on with Embiid here. And the issue with the Nets for me, if you go back to last year, the Sixers and Nets played each other 3 times. Kevin Durant did not play in any of those games. The first one, early season, the Nets did win by double digits at home. Philly was a significant favorite there. It was what we call the Ciroc on ice model game. Nobody played for the Nets. James Harden hadn't been traded yet. Kevin Durant didn't play, and Kyrie Irving also sat out. Philly went in there with their starting unit intact completely and lost outright by about, I believe, 15 points. Ciroc on ice model is a joke about Diddy showing up in the locker room with banquettes, models, and flamingo ice balloons using champagne because you're not going to play against the backups in an NBA season. So anyway, we come back. The second game, James Harden played by himself with the group, and they got throttled by Philly on the road in a revenge game there. And then the third one, Kyrie went in there with the group by himself, and Philly also won. So again, the moral of the story here is we have never seen Kevin Durant and this group play against Philly, and we have never seen Philly without Ben Simmons, clearly a contaminating point, play against Brooklyn. So this is a total unknown national game, home opener. I'm very content throwing my TV on, cracking a beer, prepping for college football, sharking the gun at 9 o'clock, and not betting this game.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It's Nets or nothing for me here, guys. We like don't be a bit surprised you see Embiid sit this game out. He's a baller. He will do everything he wants to play. But another thing, if he's not 100%, that could also be bad for the Sixers if he plays. Now, I'll tell you this right now: the Sixers have a huge advantage with Embiid and Drummond off the bench. Obviously, the Nets don't have a lot of size over there. But on the flip side of that, the Harden and KD also have a huge advantage. No real defensive stopper to start guard either one of those guys. If you put Maxey on Harden, he will go for likely a 30-point triple-double tonight. Like, no lie. Especially with them getting their ass smacked versus the Bucks in that first game. The Nets are a tad pissed off. They will blow one of these teams out here pretty soon. It may not be one of the top-tier teams like the 76ers, but I'm keeping my eye on the Nets. Obviously, I mean, even if they lose this game, the next time they play a cupcake, they will throttle them, like crush them to dust, like just to take some frustration out. Could be today. I'm still with the whole thing with 76ers having a lot of distractions. It's Simmons, all that. Then now adding this with Embiid not being 100%, it's Nets or nothing for me, my guys. I think it's pretty fishy as well that the Nets are even laying 3 on the road here. So Harden and KD in there together, coming off a terrible game that was on national TV. I can see them coming to play here. The line going up only confirms it. It's touching threes now, my guys. So we see what happens here. It's Nets or nothing from me. And let's get to the next one, man. Oh, Pelicans Bulls. Lonzo facing his old team here, Shark. I know the Bulls got that look box on day one. What do you think here? Now they face up against New Orleans. I must say the Pelicans played a damn good first half there versus the 76ers. Like the way they played in the first half was like they're gonna win this game. Got absolutely smacked in the second half. The Sixers turned it on. And that's kind of what the Pelicans did in the preseason as well. Came out really hot, then the second half kind of just faded away, bro. What you think about this one, my guy?
This kind of starts the trend of the last 5 or 6 games here where I talked about both teams are coming from a similar environment. The Bulls obviously did cover that, but they did not play a very good game. And New Orleans did not play 48 minutes of basketball either. So again, we ask ourselves who's going to show up. When both teams didn't play particularly well, they both should improve. So it becomes a difficult environment to cap. If you go back to last year, the Bulls did, I believe, I forget exactly what happened, but I know that New Orleans did lay 2.5 points in Chicago. So when you see New Orleans lay 2.5 and then the following year it comes up to 6 on the other direction, an 8.5 gap, I think this is potentially speaking to some chalk here. I don't love buying the Bulls again with this new roster group. I believe the growing pains will exist for more than one game. I think this could go on for close to 2-3 weeks, maybe as they get their flow together. The number is Bulls, but again, there's a lot of elements here that make it tough to cap.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that. It is the Bulls' home opener. I must say, I'm still on the fence about the Pelicans right now. I do like that the Valanciunas addition by them. I do like the Graham addition. This is obviously a huge game for Lonzo Ball. He wants to show his old team that, like, I remember they played in the preseason and they smacked them. He wants to show them up. I mean, maybe the Pelicans want to show him up as well. It's interesting for me to. It's gonna be hard for me to gauge the Pelicans until they get Zion back or what they're doing with the whole Zion situation. So it's tough right now. New coach. I do think he'll flourish with them, but right now it's just I'm not sure I can buy the Pelicans right now, my guys. Let's go to another game. We got Spurs versus Nuggets here. I must say, not a lot for me on here, but the Nuggets, they usually do kind of – it's so crazy, bro, because, like, I don't think the Spurs will be as good as obviously they've been in last years. They won't make the playoffs or the play-in tournament. Still have some guys over there. The Nuggets are a top-tier West team. They usually come to the house and, like, let down in these type of games, and the Spurs usually play them pretty well in Denver as well, guys. So I'm not laying the Nuggets minus 7.5, even though I took them versus the Suns. It was a huge game. What you think with this one? Can the Spurs keep up offensively with the Nuggets?
Yeah, I'm just laughing in the chat. Victor Cambraya, Zion's status, overweight.
Hey, he actually built a lot of muscle, to be honest with you. He actually lost some weight and built a – if you look at Zion now, he's actually kind of fit, to be honest with you.
He's been hanging out with Brian Windhorst in the offseason. It's a lifestyle trend.
Hey, that boy got that turkey and egg.
Anyway, so this particular game, you do get a double revenge game for the Spurs. The Spurs played one of those COVID-induced back-to-backs in Denver last year. Towards the end of the season, they covered one. They covered the second one. It was 121-119. Nuggets did win both. Nuggets lost in San Antonio last year by 10, 2-1 straight up on the campaign. This is the strongest line of the last 4 games. All the games last year hovered around 4 to 5. Again, similar to what I said about the Bulls, the line is coming towards them in strength and averaging. If I had to take anything here, I would take Denver to cover this. I think it might be close. And again, this is what I said before, coming from the same environment. Denver off a big high, a revenge outright win against the Suns. And, of course, the Spurs off a blowout win as well. So, again, we keep saying this. The best spots in the sport are when one team is way too hot and one team is way too cold, not when both teams are in the same spot. It's a sharp line. I would lean Denver if I had to, but no play.
Yeah, lean spicy nuggets, like my guy Lucky Power in the chat says, man, it's definitely nuggets enough for me. I'm supremely low on the Spurs. Like there will be spots to back them, and it could possibly be in spots like this where they're catching points. But I still think that the Nuggets are will be on like somewhat a revenge tour. They had a lot of injuries going into the postseason last year. Now they're a little bit healthy. Got some new players over as well, young players. They got their guards back, so I definitely could see the Nuggets winning by double digits. I'm not on it right now, but definitely lean that way. 2 more games tonight. We're going to get out of here, man. Let's go to my guy's spot. Jazz versus Sacramento. Line open up at 5.5, up to 6.5 for the Jazz now. Both teams started out 1-0. First game for the Jazz on the road. First game for the Kings at the house. Shark, where we going?
Yes, finally we get to the spot. My only official play on the card today, Sacramento Kings plus 6.5. And ultimately, as I said, we're looking at teams in the same environment. But if we can find teams in the same environment with a good line number and dynamic, this would be the one. Utah absolutely blew out Sacramento 3 times last year. We're talking blowout city. 128-112 at home, 154-105 in Sacramento. And then to close the season to lock up the number 1 seed, they won by 22 points. All those lines were far higher, minus 11.5, minus 12, and minus 9. So we look at this. You get a triple revenge game. The Kings got absolutely insulted in their professionalism all 3 times against the Jazz last year. And you get the line coming down to 5.5, 6. Everything numerically and narrative-driven is telling you the Kings are in a different environment. They will be focused. They have a great crowd there in Sacramento, going back, obviously, to Peja, Weber, and the boys 20-plus years ago. This team has a great roster. We've been talking about this. We said this last year. The 2 young teams that had the ability to really turn up were the Atlanta Hawks and the Sacramento Kings. The Hawks got it together with a new coach. Luke Walton's still sitting out here potentially in purgatory with the Sac Kings, but they have a great group. They're young. They are deep. They have great leadership. I love my man De'Aaron Fox. I love my man Halliburton. I love Buddy Hield hanging out from Texas, Oklahoma. Marvin Bagley, I think he's figuring it out. I think he's professional enough to deal with whatever maneuver they're doing with him. And ultimately, I think this is a great buy spot and a triple revenge game on a great line number for Sacramento. Official play, free Friday, October 22nd. Sacramento Kings plus 6.5.
Yeah, I couldn't talk you off of it, my guy. And I'd like the Jazz to lose so I could hop on them in the next spot too, man. So hey, I couldn't talk you off. Hope you cash it. Hey, when we taking home dogs, obviously we're taking the points. They could lose by 5 or 6, and we still get the cash. All we ask for is a close game here. Obviously, the Kings got a lot better defensively as well. Be interested to see if they can guard that's the Jazz. They shoot threes. They live and die by the 3. If the threes aren't hitting, they could literally get blown out, in all honesty, or they could blow anybody out. So that's just the way that the Jazz are. 3's not hitting, and that's why they're not necessarily as good on the road as well, and they clean up versus bad teams at the house. Last game of the day, my guys. We got the Suns versus the Lakers here. Be honest, I'm starting to see a lot of Laker love today. A lot of people, you know what I'm saying? And this is one of the spots that I would be on as well. Not Lakers today, but just saying going with the playoff revenge angle. They lost to they got put out by the Suns. Obviously, LeBron wasn't healthy. AD wasn't healthy as well. I still don't, even if they were healthy, I still don't think they were getting past the Suns last year. Now, in theory, could have like a letdown off the finals loser. This isn't football, but could have a letdown from the finals loser for start the year. The Suns. I do think the Suns are a lot better than that, and they're coached better than that to actually come back even more pissed this year. They lost versus the Nuggets, even though they were double digits. The Nuggets played exceptional defense in that game, and they had a really good offense. The Lakers, not necessarily. Like, they can play really good defense. I don't know if they have the offensive continuity right now to go up against a top-tier defensive team like the Suns, who play excellent perimeter defense. Now, Anthony Davis, he has a matchup problem. There's no one to guard Anthony Davis in here. Other than that, I think the Suns, they can lock up LeBron here. Westbrook usually locks up himself, even though I think he'll have a better game today. He may not try to shoot as much. Regardless, the Suns are a lot more well put together right now as far as continuity, coaching-wise, and just being fluid in their offense and defensive schemes. It's Suns or nothing for me here. I wouldn't be surprised if I end up sprinkling on Suns tonight. I'm not betting the Lakers tonight. I do think they start out this season 0-2 and probably go off and reel off like 7 straight wins. But I don't think that they have it yet right now to compete with this Suns team the way that they play basketball.
Yeah. This is a tough one. This fits the J Money model of buying the team that got cleaned up in the playoffs. When we came on the air prior to actually clicking the ticket to come on here, I said to Jay, is this the buy hat?
I think that's the fade hat today.
Anyway, this hat could take on both sides. However, when you are looking at this, the major problem, which Jay just touched upon, is what I said when I faded them correctly with the Warriors in the opener. It's really hard to buy this roster group to expect any sort of ATS efficiency in the first 10 to 20 games. You saw Russell Westbrook, just absolute brick city, and just a lack of flow with the group. I think he himself is enough to disrupt a potential cover with whatever playing time he gets, 25 to 30 minutes. His plus-minus rating was absolutely horrendous. It seemed like that non-cover was ultra-specific to his on-court inefficiency. Of course, we said this 4 times. I'll say it for the 5th time. Another environment where both teams are coming from the same spot in Game 1. Suns did lose it outright at home and not cover. And the Lakers also lost outright and didn't cover. So you have 2 teams that are 0-1, 2 teams that are 0-1 ATS. The line is definitely a short figure. It's kind of a pick'em, national game. Very tough to take a side here for me.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. In theory, it is kind of it's a tough game. It's a kind of a toss-up game in my opinion. But let me see. So I know that the Suns are one of the best teams in the league coming off a loss. They're 20-9 against the spread last 29 games following an ATS loss, my guys. So when they don't cover a spread, these motherfuckers, they come back to play. They're 7-3 against the spread in their last 10 games as well, following a straight-up loss of more than 10. So when they don't play well, they come out and smash the next team the next game. So I know the Lakers are due to come up at some point. Not necessarily this early in the season. Like, I'd really be surprised the Lakers mowing teams down early in the season. Not top-tier teams. You know what I'm saying? They lost versus the Warriors, even though they got up 10. They'll want to come out here with representative. Just know the Suns, the way that they play defense, guys, I really have a hard time seeing the Lakers flourish against this Suns defense that plays hard every single possession. They don't take possessions off. Crowder will always come to play versus LeBron. Chris Paul will always come to play against these guys, man. You still got guys like Cam Johnson, added Landry Shamet. Aiden's trying to play for a contract extension as well, even though Aiden can't guard AD, and they don't necessarily have. Well, they got McGee coming off the bench, so they have somewhat size to deal with Jordan, Howard, and AD. But regardless, the rest, as far as the guards, I think the Suns should eat in this one. Westbrook could have a little bit better game versus CP3, but I like the Suns in this game, guys. I do. I like the Suns here. It's Suns or nothing for me. I'm not looking to back the Lakers, even though a lot of people are, my guys. So, but I'm going with Pacers for my play today. Shark, real quick. If you can't break them off with your officials or your official play before we get out of here.
Absolutely. Just said it 5 minutes ago. We'll say it again. Sacramento Kings plus 6.5. Triple revenge game. Got absolutely insulted by Utah in all formats last year 3 times. The number is plummeting from the averages and the outcomes. It's precisely what we're looking for. Only play 10 o'clock. Sacramento stand up at home. Let's cover this one, and maybe let's win outright against the Jazz, traveling off a blowout win in the opener against Oklahoma City. Jay, close them out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm taking the Pacers today, guys. An unpopular pick. People hopping on the Wizards again, and it could happen, guys. But I'll go with my playoff revenge angle. I'm also going with the team that had a 23-point lead in the last game and ended up pissing away and lost by 1. And as far as the other team that had a huge outlier as far as the final scores has to do with it, holding the Raptors to 83 points. This Pacers offense is not the Raptors. They have some continuity. They have some defensive defensive stoppers down low and some size as well with Sabonis and Miles Turner, one of the best defenders at the rim to go against Gafford and Montrezl Harrell. So I like that matchup, Sabonis and Turner versus Harrell and Gafford. That was the main way they cleaned up the Raptors. These guys have an actual point guard in Brogdon. They're still missing LeVert, but still, their revenge spot coming off the play-in tournament last year, lost to the Wizards by 20-some points. Give me the Pacers in this bounce-back spot, my guys. I think both teams will be 1-1 after this one, taking Pacers official plus 1.5. After that, guys, Nets. I heavy lean to Nets minus 2.5, heavy lean to Suns. I may get there. I'll do another video or tweet it out on Twitter if I get there. But top looks as well, Suns and Nets. I really think I think that's a 3-0 spot, my guys, regardless. But Pacers plus 1.5 top play. Let's cash it. Over 300 people live watching, man. If you can hit the like button if you can. Subscribe to the channel, man. Retweet on Twitter, all type of stuff, man. We appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let's cash some tickets. Go and follow my guy on Twitter, man, at Sharkton Sports. You can follow me as well at J Money's Money. Like I said, if you like the content, you want us to keep doing it, hit the like button, subscribe, share to your Twitter, all your social media platforms, my guys. We're out. Let's cash some tickets. It's us against the bookies. We out, my guys.